Resurrection Man number 3, written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning, art by Fernando Dagnino. We last left off with the body doubles killing Mitch seemingly in a different way because he was sent to some sort of limbo nightmare world that he's never seen before. This issue picks up with them being a bit concerned because he should have resurrected by now. He's still just a puddle of water, and they're kind of concerned that, he's not back yet. Daryl comes around the corner, sees them, and one of the body doubles pulls out a gun on Daryl, and it's like, hey, how about you turn around, go back to your room, and when the police question what happened here, you say that you were sleeping because you took too much of your medication, okay? That way I don't have to kill you. And Daryl's like, yeah, okay, bye. And he runs back to his room, thinking like, geez, Mitch, what did you do? What's happened to you? Meanwhile, we see what Mitch has been doing. He's been in some crazy world he's never seen before. There's like chalk outline drawings over all these mountains of bodies. And as he walks around, he's like, this feels like a dream. And he hears this voice that says like, well, that's kind of what it is. And he turns around and he sees this being, this creature that he can't properly make out the shape of. It's just like a blur of lines and light. And the being's like, look, I'm not your friend. I'm not going to lie to you, but we're kind of tied together at the hip here. So apparently there's heaven and hell, and this is the in-between. And neither of them can touch this area. And Mitch is like, so limbo? And he's like, no. Like, when it comes to eternities, the things that don't have names don't have names. So you should probably get out of here. And he's like, why? And he looks and he sees these swirling black, like worm-looking things. Their being calls them night morphs. And apparently they just like to eat. They're like maggots. They just eat up anything they can. And the being says, I can get you out of here. All you got to do is say the word. And Mitch wants to ask a few more questions. He's like, hey, that demon, the winged demon, said that my soul was overdue. And he's like, demon, no, that was an angel. They're playing for heaven. And this being is apparently the opposite number. So, I guess this is a demon, but it also may not be. It's a bit confusing. But basically, he makes the point that Mitch keeps dying and then not going to either place, which is causing problems with bookkeeping on both sides. So something needs to happen. Some side needs to claim his eternal soul, or else things get a little bit tricky. So Mitch realizes that the only reason he's still here is because the being is keeping him there. So he's like, all right, I'm not playing your game. Send me home. And he's like, now are you sure? He's like, yes, send me home. So he resurrects out of the pile of water. The body doubles are freaking out because they're like, I didn't realize it was painful every time he came back. Like, he's screaming in pain. But he's like, all right, well, should we help him? Maybe let's just give him the sedative and take him home. We cut back to Daryl, who's going through his entire apartment, I guess you would call it, and he's looking for something. Wink, wink. Finally, Mitch manages to stop screaming. He gets up, and they're like, all right, well, let's go ahead and grab him. And as they go to grab him, his new power this time around is an armored skin. He's got like a rocky outer shell. So he starts running into them and just going full on like Hulk pretty much. Mitch bashes one of them against the skull and like breaks her jaw, but then it immediately heals back up. So both these girls have a very accelerated healing factor. That's their thing. They like literally can't die. So kind of a dark mirror to Mitch's powers. But they managed to basically bash Mitch's head in, despite him having armored skin. They knock him out a little bit, and then one of the girls pulls out armored piercing rounds, shoots through Mitch, and kills him. But then, because he's Resurrection Man, he comes back again before they can put the cuffs on him. He now has a canary cry, a sonic boom yell. He knocks one of them out the window. The other one manages to get the sedatives into him now that he doesn't have armored skin. And he passes out, and they're like, all right, well, that took a lot more effort than we thought, but glad we finally got him. Let's go ahead and call it in. So they're trying to get a car sent so that they don't have to use the teleport thing, because they have a reason, but honestly it's just so we don't have this scene end too quickly. And as they're going to leave, Who shows up but Daryl inside of his supervillain outfit as the transhuman. He wasn't kidding. He was actually a supervillain. So he's got a whole bunch of guns, and he says, "You're messing with my friend's boys, lady. That means you're messing with the transhuman." And that's where we leave off. I really like how this is developing. It's like it answered a whole bunch of questions in that other world, and in doing so, it also asked like twice as many. And that's the best way to tell like a sort of mystery book like this, where nobody's really sure what's going on, is that as soon as you get an answer, you're like, okay, but why? And then it allows you to answer things and keep the audience engaged while not keeping it going for too long. And I really like that so far. I'm super down on these characters. I thought the body doubles were a little bit iffy when they first appeared, just because they seemed like useless sex appeal. But I gotta say, they've grown on me. They've actually got personalities. They've got things that, they've got their own people. They are characters. They're not just literal bodies. So, yeah, no, I'm okay with this. And of course, Daryl we're gonna have a 60-something-year-old in a mech suit, pretty much. I'm totally down for this. It's a fun book. I have no problems with any of the art. The writing is also extremely well done. It does feel like just natural speech, especially when it comes to the body doubles, but not like annoyingly so, like some writers do, where they put in all the ums and ers and rs. So yeah, no, I'm going to give this one a 7.5. I'm definitely looking forward to more Resurrection Man moving forward.